Hello, I'm Wanderer001 and this is my review of YouTube TV. It is an internet-based TV service that you can get without having to have a cable subscription. You do have to have a subscription to YouTube TV, but it is much cheaper than a normal cable subscription. Now, I started looking into cable TV services for my parents who will be retiring soon and needed to cut their cable bill. However, I'm going to start off with saying I do not believe YouTube TV will help them for what they are looking for in a cord cutting solution. I will link over there in the corner the other internet-based TV services that I've reviewed for the purposes of them. YouTube, not so much. I don't think it's going to be what they are looking for, but it might be what you are looking for. So let's start off by talking about the sign-up process, because there's two different ways to do this, because this is on a Roku device. So the Roku itself is more of just a peripheral to get to the content. You can't really do a lot of manipulation of your YouTube TV account. In fact, you have to sign up for this either on a mobile device, smartphone or tablet, or your computer. Now, the sign-up process was a pain in the butt for me, because when you first go into it, it's like, hey, you need to, sign in with your Google account. I signed in with my Google account, and then I just kept getting a message. You can't use a branded account. And I'm like, well, this isn't a branded account. This is my account. Well, apparently branded accounts are anything that is attached to YouTube where you've published videos, or if you have a Google Plus page, that counts it as a branded account. So my Wanderer001 account that you're watching this on would be considered a branded account. Now, back in 2006, when I created my YouTube account and channel and name, that was just my account. But apparently things have changed, and now I have a secondary main account, which is just my name and my email address. Well, it was a pain to get to that, because I just clicked the icon with my face in the corner, drop down arrow, selected it, and then tried to log in, and it kept giving me this error message. There's a switch account button in blue on this page, which I'm showing you, that you need to click and then re-sign into your account, and then it will manually bring you back to your main non-branded account. So for me, that was a pain in the butt and almost made me decide not to try this out. So with that out of the way, attaching your YouTube TV account to the Roku, not a problem. I like it. You click on it, it gives you a code, you go to a website, you input the code, boom, your Roku is now attached to your account. So let's start up YouTube TV. So what you're seeing right now is actual load times. I'm not going to cut anything. I do have the TV muted in the background, so there won't be any sound, but this is YouTube TV. When you first come into YouTube TV, you land on your home screen. Now, I'm not sure how well this is going to show up in the video, but that tab we're currently on right there is home. Now, I'm also going to be referencing the Roku remote. So, back button, home button, left, right, up, down, okay, play, pause. Those should be the buttons that I'm referencing. So, on your main page here, you will scroll down and it's top picks for you. Now, in my case, I don't think that this actually was extraordinarily helpful because, one, I mainly watched video on demand services or things on my DVR. I did not watch a lot of live TV because, well, that's just how I am. I don't watch a lot of live TV, but I like testing these services out. So I have no interest in sports of any way, shape, or form. These are all live content, because you can tell because it has the little live in the bottom of all of these boxes. You can also see there is a red progression bar. Might be a little harder on some to see than others, but that indicates how far into an episode the show actually is, if it's live. Coming down on our homepage, so I'm just clicking the down button on the Roku remote, you have resume watching. And I'm just going to pull this back a little bit so that it stays in focus, hopefully a little better. So again, we're in the resume watching area. So you can see each of these is something that I have started watching, or other people in my house or my nieces, because there's a lot of cartoons in here. Again, they have a red line, which is difficult to see when highlighted, and you can tell what's highlighted because it'll be surrounded in white, but there is a progression bar on them, so you'll know how far into that particular episode you are. Now, the only problem with the resume watching area is there's no way to remove items from the resume watching unless you actually go into it and finish watching the rest of the show. Now, resume watching will bring in both things from your DVR and video on demand, as well as live TV. Now this Bones, right before I started filming, was live TV, and in the little corner there, it would have said live, but it's no longer live. So just giving you some information of what this page is like. Scrolling down, you have sports. You can scroll through all the live sports that are going on. Coming down, family. You can scroll through all of the family. Now, you'll notice that Shrek and Night at the Museum are live. However, Gravity Falls is not live. It's a DVR recording, as well as Star here is live, and these are movies that are not live but are up and coming, and or things that are on my DVR. Coming down, we have news. Again, you can see that red progression bar. You have a special section for movies. Now, the movies are not limited to a particular channel. They span all the channels, and I'll get into that a little later. So you have shows. These are just shows that it thinks you'll like. And coming down here, YouTube Originals. So this is YouTube Red Originals. As part of your YouTube TV subscription, you also get access to YouTube Red. I personally don't think YouTube Red is a great add-on, but some people might. Mainly for me, I don't have any interest in the YouTube Red content. The only show that I have interest in at this time is the Cobra Kai show that's coming out. But other than that, YouTube Red doesn't really do it for me. Also, you will have, as part of your YouTube Red subscription, you will have access to ad-free YouTube on a supported device. So Roku doesn't support that, but tablets, smartphones, and computer do. Now, the problem is, for me, my main YouTube account is my Wander001 account. I would have to use my main non-branded account in order to access those extras with the YouTube Red and the ad-free viewing. So, yeah. And because this is a Google/YouTube product, coming down, you can see home shows on YouTube, trending on YouTube. They integrate that YouTube in there very much. All the way at the bottom, you have choices that you can choose your network. So if you wanted to look through something, let's say we come over here to Disney. Notice it's highlighted in white. We click on that and it will bring us to kind of like their video on demand stuff here at the top. It's going to be a mixture of Disney, Disney XD, and Disney Kids or Disney Junior. Here you have shows that are live currently on Disney, shows that are live on Disney Junior, and shows that are live/upcoming on Disney XD. Now, if we come over here, this shows us, it might be difficult to read, but that says live. Next, we can come down to series, and it will show you all of the series that are going on. You have movies, and then here, if you wanted to, you can select which particular Disney property, so Disney Channel, Disney Junior, or Disney XD. Now, you can do that for all of the stations. Up here in the upper right-hand corner, you'll notice that it is listing by recommended. So it's saying, based on your watching habits, this is what we think you'll enjoy. If I change that, I can do A to Z, Z to A, or most recent. So if there's a show that has a recent show that was put out, it will change that order. Now I'm clicking back on the Roku remote to bring me back to that page I was on, and we're gonna just scroll down to the bottom and select back to top and click OK on the Roku remote. So it will bring us all the way back up to the top of our homepage. Now, I like that a lot. It will allow you to transition back to the top of the page seamlessly. However, this is the only place that you can do that. Going across the top, we're currently on home. We're gonna go to the right to go to live, because any live service worth its salt will have a guide, and if it doesn't have a guide, it's garbage. YouTube TV does have a guide that's okay. You can see right here, it's showing you the on now, and shows you in the upper right hand corner of that, and hopefully you can see it, it says 5 minutes left for this particular channel, which is the CBS channel. You can scroll across and kind of see what's coming up. It goes ahead about 7 hours. So it's not going to let you skip ahead to another day like some other providers do. You'll also notice that there's no line going across showing you that, hey, this is how far into a program it is. That red line is present under each of the images or thumbnails for the show, which can be a little difficult to see. Now, if we scroll to the top over here, this is something that's nice. It says default, which will show you all of the channels that you have access to. Well, a lot of the channels that you have access to on YouTube TV are sports. I don't really care about sports. So coming over here, I can select custom. And what custom will do is show me just the channels that I have favorited in a way. Now, the problem with this is, again, the Roku is just a peripheral to get access to these. So you have to do this on a mobile device or on your computer. But what it will do is it will shear up the channel selection to just show you the channels that you are interested in. Now, I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom. And the reason I cut out a lot of the channels so I didn't have to scroll through them all, but I am pressing down on the remote and it's not bringing me back up to the top. Now that's a little annoying, but if I click on the back button, that will bring me back to the top because it brings me back to the live tab. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down and show you something. So here we have Shrek, or we'll do Ghost Rider because it looks like it's not as far in. If we select this show with OK, it will bring us into the show. And we're going to pause. So when we're in a show, you can see that red bar is what we can go back on. So we can scroll back all through this red bar. Now, you can come back up to live. That's really nice. Now, if we slowly progress back, which it's not going to do right now, you can get like a little thumbnail image in the reversal or the forwarding that will let you know what you're looking at. Now, if I press down on the Roku remote, here it's bringing us back to live. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this with the creepy guy looking out the window. And you can do that by pressing down on the Roku remote. I'm going to scroll over to the right, which will allow me to add it to my library. Now, this is how you record things to the DVR. Now, the problem with this DVR is it will not allow you to select record only new episodes. So if you have a show that you're doing, you won't be able to record just new shows. It records everything. Now, the benefit of that is some stations don't allow you to record on other services. YouTube TV will let you record anything and everything on no matter what channel it is. So those Disney properties, you can record those. And the beauty of it is, if there's a show that shows up on multiple stations, let's say there's a show on Cartoon Network that shows up on TBS or TNT, also, it will go and grab those as well. Now, there is no limit to how much stuff you can record on the DVR. However, there is a 9-month limit to how long something will stay on the DVR. Now, I'm going to mention this here. You can have 6 accounts per YouTube TV account, but they have to be people over 13 and have to have a Google account. That's the one limiting factor of that. Also, you can only have 3 streams going at once. So while you can have 6 people on an account, only 3 of those people can be watching something at once. Now, I say that because each person gets their own DVR. So you don't have to worry about people cluttering up your DVR. Now, if I select Add to Library, you'll notice that it changes it so it's actually recording. So it's going back and grabbing all of this information because it wants to add it to the DVR. Now, if I come over to Info and select Info, it will give us a little synopsis of the show as well as the runtime of it. I can select More Info, and that will bring me into this screen, which will, if you are on a particular show, show you more information about the cast and what have you. Now, you can say watch it now, you can say about, you can say lead cast, related on YouTube, of course, because this is an integrated YouTube product, and then you can come down to similar, and it will show you similar shows or movies. And from here, you can also come up and say remove from library, which will stop the recording and remove it from the library, or you can just jump right in to play it from here. I'm going to select back on the Roku remote to bring us back to this location, and I'm going to go over to more. Selecting more will allow you to bring up closed captioning options. There you can see closed captioning options. You can bring up audio options. So you have your primary, secondary audio. And then there's this one right here that looks like a bug, which is stats for nerds. Well, if you're curious, stats to nerds looks like this. It's pretty much just giving you a whole bunch of information that most people aren't going to have to worry about. But we're going to go back. Now, the only problem with the stats for nerds is you actually have to go back and remove it like that and then close. Now, if I push down on the remote again, it will bring me back into things that I have been watching on YouTube TV. So you can jump right from this to one of these other shows. Now, you can click over here to the left and go back to the live guide. So if I go back to the guide, this is the pseudo channel surfing method. It's not really as good as a click, 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 go to the next episode type of thing. But we're going to press play and leave that muted for a second, only because we're going to come back here to live. And then I'm going to push up on the Roku remote so that you can see the bar. Because like I said, the bar is nice. It's a decent size. But we want to show you what ad breaks look like. Because on video on demand stuff, you get ad breaks, unlike this where you can't fast forward. So if we come back all the way to the top by pressing back on our Roku remote, you'll notice now that there's a little space up here, which is showing you the current show. That red bar is showing you the progression of the show. Now, if I actually here, I'm going to go back in, I'm going to unpause it, and then I'm going to bring up this. So it is progressing in the background while we're on our live screen. Now you'll see over on the right-hand side here, shows you the current runtime as well as the full runtime left, and then you have that progression bar. Now, over here we have the search menu. Now the search menu is a little bit of a pain in the butt because it does not work with the official Roku app. You actually have to hunt and peck your way through to find something. So we're just going to cheat and hope that it, yeah, here we go. So we were going to look for The Simpsons, and it's showing you top results, live and upcoming from my library. So these are things that are on my DVR, on demand. So there's on demand of this particular show. And then this also has a movie, so we can select the movie if we wanted to. But the search also has these suggestions up here. They're not always great, but it's nice that it's there. But I really wish that it would show you or let you use the official Roku app. So that was live, that was home, that was search. So we're going to come over to library now. And we're just going to leave Ghost Rider running in the background there. So what library is, this is where your selected shows show up. This is where your DVR is. So first item on the side here is new episodes. So these are things that you suggested or selected through the DVR, and these are the new episodes of something that showed up. So in this case, there's these two Star versus the Forces of Evil for my nieces, and then here's Deadpool. Deadpool got recorded, so these are new. You also have down here, these were new but were watched and will eventually get removed from the new episodes area. You can tell they're watched because they say watched and have the red line. Over here you have most watched. So of all the shows that you have selected to be recorded, the most watched ones will show up here. Now we can go into recordings. Now recordings will show us recently recorded stuff. So this is everything that gets recorded, and we'll just kind of throw it in here. It'll show you things that are recording right now, things that will be recorded later today, tomorrow, and then it goes forward a little bit into the future. Now I'm going to come back up to the most watched. Actually, no, we're going to continue down to the shows area. So the shows, everything that you told it to record will show up in this area. Now you can, by clicking this up in the upper right hand corner, A to Z, Z to A, trending, most popular, or top rated. Now the one thing that I will say that I have noticed is these, and I'm going to use this one as an example because my nieces were here and I was able to test this. When you click into a show, if it has a video on demand versus a DVR'd option, you can come over here and notice it says choose a recording. So we come down and we say choose a recording, and it will show you DVR'd, video on demand, or live. Now this video on demand actually showed up 5 hours before the show was on the East Coast. So my nieces got to watch this show a little earlier. Now you'll notice that it doesn't actually tell you which is a DVR versus a video on demand. The only way to know for sure is coming down and selecting, and then you can see DVR'd. And you'll notice that there are several episodes that were recorded of a similar type. Now each of these episodes will stay in here for the 9 months. So let's say this one that was done on April 5th disappears. Well, we have this other one that was recorded on April 7th, so that one will last a little longer. So that's kind of an interesting thing. Now, with each of your shows, you have the Watch Now, you have the schedule, which will show you what's coming up. You have About, you have, again, the lead cast, related YouTube items, and then similar. So it'll say, hey, you're interested in this, you can check out these as well. So those are shows. Movies, I'm currently recording this really bad Ghost Rider movie, and then we have Deadpool. Similarly, if you select an item, come over, it will say, choose a recording. So these two were done on FX on 2 different days. But again, if this movie shows up anywhere else, it will also grab that information. And just like before, About, lead cast, you can play right now or remove from library. I'm gonna hit back on my Roku remote, and we're gonna come down to sports. I don't have any sports, so that's that. And I don't have any events. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back up to home. You can see that Ghost Rider still playing in the background there. So we're gonna come down to this right here, because even though this is a DVR'd item, you'll notice that it is showing an ad. And I kind of stopped it because I'm not gonna show you the ads. But there are some stations that even though it is a DVR'd item, they will still show ad breaks. So far, I've only really noticed it on CW programming, any CW programming, and FXX for Simpsons content. Now, duration and length of ads is very dependent on, again, the station. Each of these yellow indicators here are all ad breaks. Some stations are a little more lenient with their ads than others. Likewise with the length of time that the ad break is. Now, for the most part, you're going to get ads that are relevant to the station that you're watching. So when I watch Simpsons, it's FXX stuff. CW, it's CW / other weird things that it thinks I'd be interested in. But this annoys me a little bit because it's like it's a DVR'd item. I want to be able to fast forward through it, and you can't fast forward through the commercials, which is annoying. And just like real TV, the commercials are much louder than the content itself. All right, so we're going to go back to our resume watching area because I want to mention something. If you are watching video on demand or DVR'd content, such as, in my case, The Simpsons, if you watch The Simpsons live, what will happen is that live showing will override in the resume area the video on demand or DVR'd recording that you were watching. It's an odd thing, but I just want you to be aware of that. All right, so going back to the DVR'd item here with the ads, for the most part, when you hit one of these ad breaks, what will happen is the show will backtrack like 5 or 10 seconds and then start rolling again. It's a little inconvenient, but it's not a deal breaker. It's just a weird glitchy thing, I want to say. We're going to go back here. So playback's been really smooth, no buffering. I had one weird error show up the first day I did it, but I haven't seen anything like it after that. So the question is, well, one, how much does this cost? Well, there's a 7-day free trial that you can test out. YouTube TV currently is $40 a month. It was $35 a month. If it was at the $35 a month for the channels that you get, it's pretty good. But at $40 a month with the channels and services that you get, I would almost suggest going with PlayStation Vue, only because for me personally, that has more of the channels that I watch than YouTube TV did. Now, at $35 a month, that's not bad, but at $40 a month, PlayStation Vue is $40 a month as well. But the last thing I want to show you is a little hard to see because it's over here. That's my icon name for my main account. Now I'm going to pause for a moment and then go into settings. Now, all of this information is pretty much just go look on some other device, look on some other device. Again, the Roku itself is just a peripheral to get to the content. But what I want to show you is this down here, privacy, one of the few things that you can do. You can pause your search history. So if you don't want it to show up in your suggestions, you can turn that off. You can pause your watch history. So let's say your nieces do come over and you don't have accounts set up for them. You can pause your watch history and then their suggestions won't show up in yours. Or you can delete your history, whether it be your search history or watch history, and then the rest, you go back to this manage content area. Clicking on that name icon right there, which is kind of hard to see, is also how you would switch accounts. Now, I'm not going to show you that because, well, my wife decided she just wanted to use my account instead of using her account, and that also brings up my main account name, so I'm not going to be doing that. All in all, for the price you pay, if you are in the YouTube universe and you like YouTube Red, or you just, the channel offerings that YouTube TV gives you, for $40, if I would say if you're strongly in the YouTube universe, this would be a good choice for you. If you're not strongly in the YouTube universe, I would suggest checking out the PlayStation View option and see if the similar price point gives you more channels. It gives you similar features with the all DVR grabbing. It only lasts 28 days on PlayStation View, but the rest of the features are similar. It's not a bad service. It's just, I found it a little, I won't say lacking, but I found myself not watching as much live TV because they didn't have the channels that I wanted for live TV, and just ended up watching more video on demand and DVR stuff for my nieces and occasionally myself. It's not a bad service. It's just not a service that I personally would use. Maybe you will. Maybe this suits what you need perfectly because they got a lot of sports options that I don't care about, but maybe you do. So hopefully you have found this helpful in some way, shape, or form. I have been Wanderer 001. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the area below. And as always, thanks for watching.